Welcome to episode 55 of The Leap Home. Play ball.
In this week's episode, Sam has to navigate the murky waters of minor league baseball and earn a spot in the big leagues for a veteran pitcher. With an interfering owner dictating playing opportunities, Sam has to decide whether he's willing to play a different kind of game to get his shot. Meanwhile, a combustible young hotshot looks for his own opportunity. But can Sam do right by the man he's leapt into and the kid? Or will he ultimately have to choose between them?
I've heard about the way you treat women. The things you do.
Things? What things?
Would you listen to me, please?
Good evening, Ian. How are things?
I've heard about the things that you do to women.
That's never been,
Plenty of court orders.
never been proven. Yeah, let's make a joke about it.
Well,
They do. I mean,
it's funny because it's true.
in this episode, they do make light of sexual abuse and Me Tooing.
We'll definitely get to this.
It's got a female Weinstein in the books, which is played for
arguably.
laughs.
Well, that's why it's funny. It's
course.
subverting the
Yeah,
the trope.
or it's just the 90s when it was obviously
All these things
fun.
were fine.
Yeah,
It's a complete rip-off of Bull Durham as well.
yeah.
Have you seen that?
One of these ones I can't actually remember sitting down and
It's a very good film. It might be my favourite baseball film.
is that Build It and They Will Come?
No, that's Field of Dreams.
All right,
Same,
Bull Durham.
they're both Kevin Costner films,
Yeah.
but it's different movies.
Okay, yeah, I probably have.
Bull Durham's with Susan Sarandon
Yes.
as the female owner trying to seduce him.
Okay,
Hence
why.
the,
yeah.
the plot line here, yes. It's a bit of a lighter topic than we've had though, because if Sam is really directing these leaps with his subconscious, he's obviously sick and tired of murders and cover-ups and everything else.
And I think we'll be back on track with that in the near future.
Oh dear. Anyway, how are you this week?
I'm a bit better. It's, people won't know we've actually been delayed another couple of weeks from restarting season 4 due to COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that was all behind us years ago. All of a sudden.
I didn't even believe it existed to begin with.
Well, you know, the type of sites you look at and your beliefs.
That's it. I've only had the 5 vaccinations. I refuse to get a 6th.
Who's behind it these days? Bill Gates? Elon Musk? I don't know.
They're definitely not behind it.
Are they not? Oh, okay.
Speaking of Elon Musk,
Let's not.
if you want to communicate with us on social media, you can use his platform, X, formerly Twitter. That's the BBC refers to it, where we are at Leap Home Podcast. We're also there on Facebook. We're at theleaphome.com, where there's show notes and an opportunity to comment. And also, if you go to our Columbo Podcast Productions YouTube channel, you can find each and every episode 1 week before the majority of people.
I think as we have been delayed, we should just crack on.
After the standard intro, we get a bit of new information because we didn't get to see Sam leap out last week.
Well, you say standard. I think there was a new clip from the previous week's episode added.
Yeah, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think they ever use future clips in the credits. It's always stuff we've already seen.
Don't want any spoilers, obviously.
Spoiler fighting, yeah. Yes, this is all new information that we're seeing here. Sam leaps into a baseball player called Doc. He's wearing his baseball uniform and his ball cap and his glasses and chewing some tobacco, which he doesn't seem to enjoy.
No, he's obviously disgusted by this.
Yes, and as he spits out his tobacco, a young woman comes in and starts stripping off.
See, that's the thing. We only get this brief glimpse of him this week, but it doesn't look to me like a typical ladies' man.
Well, you don't know.
Oh, I don't know, but I do know what I think.
You know what he looks like, but appearances can be deceiving.
Oh, they can. He's probably got other abilities that are not obvious.
The implication from this woman is that there is a pre-existing relationship between the two of them.
Well, yeah, because she, as you say, immediately drops her dress and assures the panicky Doc that it's okay as nobody knows she is there.
As ever, Sam's first instinct is to try and put her dress back on her and prevent any kind of shenanigans from taking place.
Well, you say as ever, but we do know that if there's certain conditions that are
Yes,
met
but
in
his
his mind.
first instinct is always, no.
Yeah.
No.
And again, for all
It's like my wife's first instinct.
Well, for all you're not even married yet.
No, I know.
For all he knows, this is his partner.
Yeah, and he could be deeply offending her.
This is maybe a pre-game ritual.
She could be psychologically fragile.
He certainly is.
Well, She tells him that she drove her car up and there's no possible way that they can get caught, but it's immediately proved wrong.
Yes, when a young boy called Billy enters and utters this week's "oh boy."
Yeah, maybe his first sight of a bra, but I suspect not,
Probably not.
given where he hangs around.
What, men's locker rooms?
This particular ball club.
Right, okay.
After the credits, we return to the ballpark. It's August the 6th, 1961, and we hear over the PA a bit of play-by-play, which is uncommon.
Is it?
I don't think you get commentary when you go to the games,
Okay.
but I think it's used quite a lot as a crutch in these things to kind of explain what's going on.
It's a practically non-existent crowd who are watching the Mustangs play.
Yes, Sam is asked to pinch hit by his coach.
And as he strolls over, is disturbed by the sight of the team's mascot.
It's a pig.
Yeah, taking a leak.
Indeed. We hear the PA announce that the Mustangs are really struggling with injuries, which explains why Sam, who's a pitcher, is coming out to hit in this situation.
Billy hands him his bat, which he has forgot to take himself, and he steps up to the plate.
We got a comedy moment here where we hear Sam thinking how he needs to stay focused and alert, and leaping gives him that experience, and then he immediately is almost struck in the face by a pitch.
Yeah, he needs to duck from is it a fastball? I don't know.
Certainly it's a
Fast enough.
high and away, that's for sure. He, however, does manage to hit the next ball into right field and tries to extend his hit into a triple.
When you say triple, is that get to third base?
Yes.
He tries to get there with a dive, which impresses his young teammate Chucky, who asks him where he learned that dive from. So, question, I don't know much about baseball. Was that technique, that type of diving, not prevalent back in those? Is this a sort of more modern?
Yeah, it was a fad, and I think it's subsequently been proven not to be the fastest way to get to a base. You're supposed to
Slide in?
run it out,
Right, okay.
but you have to stay on the base if you're going to second or third base, so it's trickier.
Sure.
You see folk nowadays, they do something called a sort of a swim move, where they would slide in, but then they lift their arm up, so when the guy goes to tag them, he misses.
Okay.
All very exciting.
Sounds it.
Anyhow, yes, as you say, he's out. He doesn't manage to get to third base, and his coach is unhappy because that ends the game and they've lost.
Yeah, but he can't, again, this is the thing, he can't help himself. He references a player from the future.
Pete Rose,
Is it?
Hall of Famer, or he
Right.
should be, but there's an issue with he got banned for life for gambling,
Okay.
and it's a controversial topic.
Makes a change from steroid abuse and domestic violence. I think it's big in
I
American
think he probably
sports.
did those things as well.
Okay,
I don't
right.
know for certain, but it was. I don't think he's a particularly good guy.
In any case, he's got more to worry about as the coach lumbers over, berating him for not staying on second. But Chucky, he sticks up for Sam.
Yeah, he said he's trying to win the game.
But he's told to shut it by the coach,
Yeah.
who walks off. And as Chucky begins to make his way, Sam is insulted by a couple of fans.
Yeah, one guy in particular in the crowd is a bit of a loudmouth, and Chucky tells him to shut it.
It's clear that he's got anger issues here. Now, being insulted by fans is something you have to accept if you're a professional sports person. You can't do a cantina and attack fans all the time. And
Not all the time.
no, but they weren't particularly outrageous in what they were shouting.
However, the guy tells Chucky to shut his mouth for him, which is an invitation he's not going to wait to be repeated.
No, so he grabs the big mouth and punches him as we see a dungarees wearing older man look on a little bit, I suppose, disappointed from the stands.
Yeah, Sam intervenes as he usually does and breaks up this scuffle.
We're now outside.
A bit of casual racism.
Yeah, the coach is struggling to explain to... Now, at first I wasn't sure, is this the sort of team band, the
No,
team
these
mascots?
guys are on the team.
Yeah, the players, yeah. That they can't bring their instruments. I think they're wearing sombreros.
So they've
and-
got these Mexican baseball players who they've dressed as a mariachi band, and it's all very... Yeah, you wouldn't do it today.
In any case, they're eventually let on with their instruments. And when Sam walks over, he is handed Milo the mascot's leash and is reminded that whoever screws up has to babysit the pig.
He asks why, as a team called the Mustangs, they have a pig mascot, and coach has got a good answer for him.
Yeah, he laughs and points out that if they can't even afford a uniform that fits, there's no chance that they can look after a horse.
On the bus, Sam and Chucky have a wee chat.
Chucky looks up to Sam, I think, and as he reminds him of his past glories and how his father took him as a kid to see him. I think he mentions the Cubs here.
He went to see the Cubs, the finest team in America.
Yeah, I mean, even I know that that's not really true unless you're talking about back in the... I suppose this is... What year is this again?
This is right in the middle of the Cubs not winning anything for 100 years.
Yeah, but what is it, the 60s? Where?
Yeah, so they won the World Series in 1908, and then they won it again in 2016.
Sure, so Chucky had never seen them being any good.
Well, he didn't see them win the World Series.
Okay.
But it's still the greatest team with the greatest stadium.
Right, I'll take your word for that.
Sam, ever the buzzkill.
See, this is weird as well, yeah. So what does Chucky do?
He's got a hip flask. Innocent enough.
A little hip flask, he takes a little sip.
Sam immediately like, oh, should you be drinking? Oh, you're a professional athlete. Oh.
But Chucky says he needs it to get through these 6-hour bus rides and suggests that Sam must have been used to travelling first class in the show.
Yeah, Sam doesn't get the reference, but I would have thought that'd be a fairly standard thing for him to know that the show is
the
Major League. Yeah.
He goes on to say that his father almost made it. This is Chucky's father.
Yeah,
almost made it in the majors, and he wants him to do well in this playoff game.
He wants to do well himself. Yeah, Chucky wants to be scouted for the majors himself, and Sam assures him that he'll be fine. Yeah,
he thinks he'll do well and that he wouldn't get a shot if he didn't deserve it.
Chucky says that Sam reminds him of his father, but it's probably a lie, as we find out later on. We're now in a diner where Chucky's still talking about his dad. Says he travels a lot, but he wouldn't want to come and see him play with a bunch of idiots like this anyway. Yeah,
gestures to his teammates, and one of the big guys doesn't take too kindly.
I assume this guy is Riker, because there's a reference in the credits to a guy called Riker, and I don't see anywhere else he could be.
But Chucky seems happy enough to get into a fight and enjoys winding him up until they're pulled apart by the coach.
Yeah, coach at this point discovers Chucky's hip flask and is furious that just 3 days before the big playoff game, Chucky is drinking and fighting, and says if he wasn't short-handed, he would kick him off the team, which draws an incredulous response.
Yeah, the cocky youngster puts him down and in his place by pointing out that he needs him and is hanging on to his job by a thread and hasn't been near the top in his entire life. So he really sort of puts him down. It's quite cold.
Grabs his flask back from the coaches at this point, a bit emasculated, and walks off. And the coach just asks Sam to talk to him.
Really, I think he orders him to.
Well, there's also a sort of pleading tone to it. At this point, we see Al show up for the first time at the door, and
yeah, Al looks quite worried, which is unusual, and we soon discover why.
What's my name?
Your name is Lester Fuller.
Why do they call me Doc?
Our just a nickname.
Was he ever in the major leagues?
Was he in the major leagues?
Yeah.
He was the dominant pitcher in the game in his rookie season. 20-game winner. Then he quit.
Why?
Well, he was pitching in a doubleheader in Detroit, and he hit a batter. It beamed him in the head, and those days they didn't have to wear helmets, and the guy died.
Died?
Yeah. And Doc really lost it. Then he vanished, and he reappeared a couple of years ago in the Mexican League, and now he's ended up here.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
According to Ziggy, 89% chance that you're here to help Doc get back to the biggies.
I don't see how that's possible, Al. I mean, you know...
Well, it better be possible, or else you're going to spend the rest of your life holding the line to the swine.
So we fade back into Sam wondering how he can get Doc back to the majors and asks Al what happened to him in the real original timeline.
He does.
Goes to bad news.
He basically went on the slide and drank himself to death.
And at this, Sam looks up at Chucky, who he sees outside having a drink, and tells Al that he is one of the angriest people he has ever met.
However, there's a note of concern in Sam's voice, and he asks Al to get Ziggy to look into Chucky.
And then as Sam picks up the pig to reboard the team bus, Al heads off with a hankering for a BLT.
That's a bit creepy, isn't it? Seeing a live pig and wanting some bacon.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the locker room, we see that the team's full name is the Galveston Mustangs.
The coach enters, and then after taking the pig from Sam, he has to point him in the right direction. Obviously, he doesn't know where to go.
In the boss's office, we get the usual trope of Sam not realising that this woman is actually the boss. Oh,
yeah, he's faced with a lady.
Oh.
Is it Margaret Twilly, I think her name is.
That's her name. She rubs Sam's shoulders, plays with her
Whoa.
hair a little bit before asking him to pour her a drink. It's a very relaxed setting.
Oh, very relaxed. And we soon realise that she doesn't deserve any sympathy, for Sam assuming that she'd be a man, because she's a very hands-on boss.
She tells him that it's just as well he's better in bed than he is at running the bases. So we see there's an established relationship between these two, a sexual relationship. But she indicates that she's been finding that harder and harder to remember since she hasn't seen much of him lately.
Yeah, she opens his shirt and refers to this mutual understanding they have about helping each other out. But when he still doesn't play ball, she gets all Weinstein on him and points out that she runs a team, and if he wants to be a success, he's got to be a team player.
That's quite a creepy phrase to use, isn't it? Very
creepy, yeah. See, this is the thing that, the difference in the sort of 90s and where we are now. We had the episode with, What Press Gloria? She was the secretary.
Yeah.
And we had the creepy boss always coming on to her.
Yeah.
And we knew where that was ending. So he gets his comeuppance, he gets a kick in the nuts or whatever it is at the end, and he's shown to be the bad guy. But in this episode, it's just like, Sam's got to do it with an older woman. Just need to bite down, grin and bear it. Take one for the team.
Literally.
Yeah. And she doesn't get her sort of comeuppance at the end.
Yeah.
For this abusive behaviour. A very vulnerable, like we're shown here that he's not just some sort of ladies' man he's got his mental state must be very fragile. He's killed someone accidentally and he's ended up, and he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he's in this position in his life where he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, and we hear in this scene that he didn't show up the last time, so there's already this sort of
I don't want to do this
hesitation before even Sam comes into.
I mean, effectively, she's a rapist here.
Well, we don't know how it began. We know that there's an established sexual relationship that might have been.
If the roles were reversed, if this was a Weinstein character saying, "Oh, you don't know how it began," I'm sorry, she's using her position of power here. A vulnerable person. She's old. He doesn't fancy her for sexual favours. This is sexual assault. This is rape.
Well,
even if he said, "Oh yes," but again, it's that position of abuse of authority and power. You can't be doing that.
It's certainly inappropriate.
Oh, for sure.
We next see Sam in the locker room, and you get the impression that he's gone along with what she wanted, but I think we find out later that he did not.
Oh, Sam would never do that.
Yeah. Anyway, Chucky and Bunny are there. Bunny's the girl that we saw at the very start dropping her dress in front of Sam in the locker room.
Yeah, no, at this point I've asked the question, is this Twilly's daughter? And it is.
It is.
Yeah.
So she's got a thing going on with Chucky. I don't know what her thing with Sam was. Maybe she's just incredibly horny.
I think she is, yes.
Takes after her mother.
Yeah, obviously. I wonder if she's using that same ploy. I am the boss's daughter, you better do what I want.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think she's got other charms.
Okay.
Chucky, rather, is concerned that Sam had been called in because he and Bunny were busted. But turns out that's not the case.
No. And she also tells Chucky not to worry, as when the scout sees him, he will be bigger than Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, famous baseball player.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. I assumed that to be the case.
Yeah, it's a real one. Yeah. They're heading out for burgers, and Chucky invites Doc to join them, but he declines.
And when he does, I think Chucky looks around and he's a little bit disappointed and saddened by the setup that Sam's got here. He's living effectively on a cot in the locker room.
Yeah.
And he suggests that maybe he should be getting a room.
Well, in the morning at the ballpark, we hear Sam in voiceover lamenting this sleeping arrangement due to the aches and pains it's caused.
And he wonders how he's going to fool anyone that he's a major league pitcher.
Al shows up wearing a Navy baseball uniform, as in the team Navy. It's not blue.
Yeah, and just like in the boxing episode and the pool episode, Al is able to very easily and quickly train Sam up just by telling him how to do things very unbelievably.
Yes, he tells Sam in the original history Doc did start the game and pitched into the final inning with a 1-run lead before hurting his arm and giving up 2 runs to lose.
Yeah, and he gets him up to scratch by telling him to finger the ball like he would a woman.
Almost literally.
Which Sam picks up surprisingly quickly.
We do also at this point hear Sam say that he doesn't want to earn the start by sleeping with the owner because she gives him the creeps.
Yes.
And also, he can't pitch. But as you say, Al fixes that one.
Sam then remembers that the scout is going to be at this game, although Al tells him that in the original history, it is Doc who gets the start, so not Chucky.
This is a surprise for Sam, but Al fills him in that Chucky's going to get caught with Bunny and kicked off the team and never play baseball again.
Yeah, but when you say fills him in, I think he's quite bashful. He's embarrassed about it. He explains to Al why Doc gets the start.
Yes, but in terms of why Chucky doesn't, it's because he's kicked off the team, which is what Al tells Sam.
And on top of this, Sam thinks that Chucky not getting into the majors is going to kill his father, and is surprised when Al reveals that Chucky hasn't seen him since he was 5.
Yeah, so that means that all the stories Chucky was telling were fabricated, which I think Al refers to either now or later, saying it's that, when you make somebody up, they can be whoever you want them to be.
Yeah. And Sam wonders what would happen if Chucky didn't get caught with Bunny. But before he can discuss it further, Billy shouts over.
He does. Margaret's looking for Sam.
Indeed she is. And it's another uncomfortable exchange.
I've just been going over your press clippings. You've had a very interesting life.
You don't know the half of it.
I suppose so. Looks to me like you lost interest in the game for a while.
Yeah, well, I had some things to work out.
Well, it must be very difficult carrying around that kind of guilt. I don't know why in the world you want to put yourself in for it again.
Well, I just looking at this as a way to bring everything full circle and then move on.
Well, maybe I can help you. Now, I bet I can show you a few tricks you've never even dreamed of if you'd let me.
I don't know about that. Who is this? Is this your husband?
Yes.
Where is he?
He died of a heart attack.
Oh. I'm sorry to hear that. He looks like a very fine man.
He used to dress up in my underwear and pretend he was Judy Garland.
Did you hear that?
What?
Oh boy.
What?
That's Milo. I forgot to feed Milo.
You know, there's going to be a Major League scout at that game tomorrow. It occurs to me that a person, say a pitcher maybe,
Could benefit greatly from exposure like that.
What do you want from me?
Well, I am giving a little dinner party at my house tomorrow night.
How little?
Counting you and me. 2. Well, it is a chance for you to close that circle up and move on.
What time?
Looks like I just got myself a starting pitcher. 8:30.
She's filthy, isn't she?
Well, she's certainly got a way about her.
The way of a rapist.
When she shouts about having a starting pitcher, Billy, who's lurking outside the door, hears it and runs off to announce to the team what's happening in the playoff game.
Yeah, he bursts in, and this news completely deflates Chucky.
Of course it does.
So on the field, later Sam is walking with Al as he tells him to keep his mind on the job and that they have not found anything about Chucky's father.
But in a new development, Ziggy can now tell Sam when Al is lying.
How?
Bleeping and blooping.
Yeah, some sort of squealing sound that comes from the hand link,
Yeah.
which he claims he's been playing up.
However, Sam realises something's going on eventually.
Yeah, I think he works out that Al's lying. What's he lying about?
About not having any more information about Chucky or his father.
And Al has to admit that he was trying to protect Sam from himself. He didn't want him to get hung up on the wrong problem. But when Sam insists that he will give up on it if it goes nowhere, Al agrees to divulge what he knows and that he had changed his name.
Yeah, the father changed his name, yes.
Yeah.
So we immediately skip over to the father's house where Sam is talking to him. His name is now Warren Monroe.
Yeah, this is the man in the dungarees from earlier
right at the
on.
start, yes, he was watching the first game.
And Sam tells him he wants to talk to him about his son. Monroe doesn't deny that he is the father.
No.
And although he's not happy, he lets Sam speak.
He does. And then after he's finished, Warren tells Sam the story of his own father, who was a successful toolmaker immigrant who lost everything in the Great Depression, then killed himself, and Warren found him, which was obviously a traumatic experience.
Of course. But I think, see, Sam, again, he does this in the past. He makes massive leaps and comes to these conclusions. So he talks about a young man who's full of anger and confusion and is ruining his life. But where's he getting all this from? Just because he saw him having a couple of drinks and shout at
Well, he
a
also
fan?
has Al saying that he's going to go nowhere once he's off the team.
Yeah, but he does decide to blame his father.
Yeah.
It's quite an approach.
Well, it's one approach, yeah. So it's quite a strange set of circumstances. I've got more to say about it.
Yeah,
I've made a note later on about this.
He doesn't know any of the sort of the backstory, the background to this.
Well, exactly. I think that's the problem. Monroe explains to Sam why finding his own father in that situation led him to leave his family when he found himself out of work.
Yeah, and I disbelieving Sam can't understand why a man would do this, just for not having a job, and tells him that he owes his son the truth. I mean, this is peak Sam.
Very much.
Everything, he can't understand any other way of thinking apart from his own.
Yeah, take someone else's circumstances, apply my values, and
again,
here's the solution.
It is about mental health as well. People having breakdowns, they're under stress. It's just, Sam, be a little bit more considerate.
Absolutely. We find out that Monroe is interested in Chucky. He's kept a scrapbook of all his achievements and he goes to see him play.
Yes, and this causes Sam to stand and claim that Chucky is the real loser. Monroe has his scrapbook, but what does his son have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's badly written, I think, as well, without being too critical. Back at the ballpark.
Yeah, Sam is on the field and he tells Al what happened, but claims that he can't tell Chucky himself, as a second rejection would possibly be devastating to him.
Based on what?
Well, Sam just makes these things up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Instead, he's going to try and stop him getting kicked off the team and strides over to him on the pitcher's mound.
We need to talk.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think you should see Bunny so much for a while, okay?
Do you and the old lady have a nice talk?
Actually, yeah, we did.
Well, you can tell her to forget it. I see whoever I want, especially her daughter.
Look, Chuck, she owns a team.
Yeah? What else she own, Doc? Huh? What should I say? Who? Huh?
Look, I'm just trying to help you out, kid.
Help. Help. Hey, boys, did you hear that? Doc here says he's trying to help. Kind of the way that you helped that boy in Detroit? Huh? Oh, I looked it up, Doc. The boy you killed was 21 years old. 21. You hit him in the head, and you killed him. But you did it again, didn't you, Doc? But this time you stabbed him in the back. I wouldn't have minded so much if you done it on the field. But you did it behind my back. You should have done it behind my back, Doc. Yeah.
It's a very cruel attitude that he's taking there.
Yeah. But he was throwing some good pitches for a non-baseball player.
Maybe he was a decent player in real life.
Maybe Al taught him.
So Sam follows Chucky into the locker room and finds him drinking and tells him that he didn't have a choice and that...
I like this. Sam says, you need to hear my side of it. I had to.
Yeah, he says if he hadn't agreed, he would never get out. So...
It's not really a good explanation.
Yeah, how does he think this is going to be interpreted by Chucky?
Exactly. This is crazy.
Because he's talking about out of the leap.
Yeah, but it's interpreted by Chucky as out of the team and away from him and leave you behind.
Obviously, Chucky doesn't react well to this and grabs Sam, but calms down a touch when Sam admits that he deserves to be decked by him.
Chucky tells him he's not worth it, but then decks him anyway.
Yes, I quite like that. At this point, Al appears and tells Sam that he can't go after him as he has a dinner party to get ready for. And asks him why he's so interested in the kid.
Sam tells Al that it's because Chucky reminds him of Al.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting that response, I don't think.
He's quite taken aback. He's like, this guy's an asshole.
In what way does he remind him?
He's an angry man. He tells the story about the first time he met Al smashing up a vending machine with a hammer.
I think Al liked a bit of a drink back then as well.
Al says that it took his time.
And he goes on to note that he stopped the government getting rid of him back in the early days of the Quantum Leap project because he knew that he was a terrific person.
This was an unintentionally funny moment here. So Al says, so is he also a terrific person underneath? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's definitely drunk and angry.
In any case, they agree that Chucky deserves a chance to find out if he's also a good guy.
Yeah, so the next thing we see them is they're sneaking into a girl's bedroom.
Yes, a bit creepy, yeah. It's Bunny's bedroom. And as per the instruction from Ziggy, Sam climbs through the window to find Chucky passed out on her bed, and he helps him up so as not to be found by Margaret.
Yes. Bunny comes in at this point, and as we heard at the top of the show, she wants to hear about the things that Sam can do.
Well, yeah, she's wearing a skimpy nightie and is clearly not shocked or disappointed to find him there.
No, must get plenty of visits of this type.
In fact, she's clearly down for getting it on beside her comatose lover.
Indeed.
Sam, of course, deflects this and tells her that it's Chucky that needs her.
Yeah, he says he's flattered that she would be interested in him, but...
Well, here's the thing. Considering what we know about Sam's own backstory, his family,
yeah,
his sister was married to an abusive alcoholic. So he is potentially putting Bunny in trouble here. We know that Chucky's got anger issues and drink problems. Why would you want to set up a woman with this type of person?
He's thinking more short term. He's just thinking, get us out of here, keep him on the team.
Okay.
See what happens. However, he's thwarted.
Why? How?
Well, first of all, we've got Bunny saying that Chucky's really angry. She doesn't know why, and Sam pointing out it's not her fault. But then Margaret comes in as Bunny and Sam hug it out. She was expecting Sam to be here, but not in this room.
No. She takes her daughter by the hand and then orders both Sam and Chucky to leave her house and the team.
Indeed. Next day at the ballpark, it's the playoff game, and Chucky and Sam are left outside the fence watching on.
Chucky tells him that he's going out west to a semi-pro league and apologises for how he spoke to him before they shake hands.
Though he's not ready to say that Sam was in the right.
No, but I mean, from Chucky's point of view, he's not. Sam's sleeping with the boss and, as far as he's concerned, taking
his job. He does say, however, that there are no hard feelings, and then leaves before Margaret and Bunny show up to taunt Sam, or Margaret in particular.
Yeah, she's gloating, isn't she? She dismisses the notion of reconsidering her decision and then gleefully points out that the head scout of the Yankees is in the crowd.
Before heading off to wish her team good luck.
And after they leave, Al appears and had assumed that Sam would have fixed things up and would be playing as Ziggy says that he still pitches in the game.
This mystery is quickly solved by young Billy.
Yeah, he runs over and tells Sam to get into the locker room quickly.
Yes, the Mexicans are being deported.
Yes, just, okay, yeah.
And there's only 8 players left.
Well, it's not that. I mean, the coach doesn't try and defend them and their right to be there. He only asks that they wait until
after the game. It's baseball.
But no, the 3 Sanchez brothers are led off in cuffs.
Yeah. Margaret, at this stage, offers to reinstate just Chucky to pitch, but he refuses, thinking that Sam deserves the opportunity.
He does the right thing, apparently.
Is it the right thing? I didn't understand that. Al saying, do the right thing. So is it the right thing?
It's not the right thing. Sam shouldn't be getting a chance.
No. Anyway, she has to back down and let Sam pitch, but I think Chucky also rejoins the team, so some other guy has to sit out.
Yeah.
While they play.
Well, they've lost 3, haven't they?
Yeah, but they had 8 left, so they're now adding 2, so they've got 10, so that's 9 players and 1 sub.
Okay. In any case, she reluctantly agrees.
Out in the ballpark and with Al's guidance, Sam is able to pitch in line with history almost exactly.
Yeah, we get a bit of a baseball action montage with Sam doing quite well and then Al explaining to Sam that he's been tracking the game and every play has been exactly the same as in the original case. Yeah.
Instead of it being the 9th inning, Sam pulls himself out in the third inning, saying that eventually they're going to lose, so he needs to change something.
Yeah, he calls a timeout. Is there timeouts in baseball?
Well, not really a timeout, but yeah, you can stop and call a mound visit.
Yeah, and to Al's dismay, he takes himself out of the game and puts Chucky in. But why would Al not agree with this?
Because he wants Sam to get scouted to the majors because of his performance by the Yankees.
Yeah, okay.
Anyhow, with his father watching on, Chucky pitches a gem, taking a 1-run lead into the final inning, just as in the original history. Except this time with a different pitcher, obviously.
And when the final ball is hit for what looks like a home run.
Yes, it looks like they're going to lose in exactly the same painful way.
What does Sam do?
He climbs the fence and makes a remarkable catch in the outfield and secure the victory.
We are in the locker room, where their performance has caught the eye of the scout who enters to have a word.
That's a heck of a catch.
Thanks.
Of course, you wouldn't have to make it if you didn't have to let the batter off the hook like that. You set him up with the heat and you brought it back again. That was a rookie mistake.
And who are you?
You got a dangerous weapon there, kid. And a brain could make it lethal. How'd you like to have one? Courtesy of the New York Yankees.
Are you giving me a shot at the show?
Not on one outing. But I think I could stick around for the big game.
Sam, get this. Chucky pitches a 1-hitter in the championship game and then gets up to the majors in 6 months.
Wait a second. What about Doc? I mean, it was his game.
There's not much call for a 35-year-old rookie with a bum arm. It took brains to yank yourself out of that game. I could use a pitching coach for those kind of smarts.
Are you offering me a job in the majors?
Unless you've got other plans.
Sam, this is great. Ziggy was hung up on semantics or something, but this is the break that Doc needed. Pitching coach.
No, I don't have any other plans.
Good. I'll come by tomorrow. We'll talk.
Great.
Keep icing that shoulder.
You bet.
Heck of a catch.
Did it, Sam. Might as well leap.
I don't think so. Hey, kid, come here. I want you to meet somebody. This is Warren Monroe.
Sam's got an awfully thin resume for as prestigious a job as a major league pitching
Yes,
coach.
but I mean, I think also, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but certainly in football, soccer, you don't get a move, you don't get scouted in the back of one performance. Players will be tracked for many, many weeks, many months, many games.
This has been, it's like those adverts that say the process has been shortened.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you might be signed to a minor league deal and then someone gets hurt and he gets called up. You'll have options.
Anyway,
This is where I get really upset with this episode.
Well, okay, so we heard at the end of the clip there, Monroe and Chucky speaking, and as they talk, tears well in his eyes as he realises that it's his father, and asks to go and buy him a coffee.
Yeah, Sam tells Al that he maybe should have gone for baseball instead of basketball at school, but Chucky then comes back in to tell him great catch and throws him a ball.
And as he catches it, what happens?
He leaps into a sheriff's deputy, I think, holding a cat. It seems windy. A woman from the Red Cross is there helping another lady, and she notes there's a hurricane going on. Sam then gets hit in the face with the newspaper and drops his cat and says, "Oh boy." It's the end.
Yes.
It's pretty low stakes in this episode.
Yeah. Well, really? Chucky dies.
No, he didn't. Sam died.
Sorry, Sam
Doc
dies, yeah.
Eventually he died.
Yeah, he drank
Himself to death at some point in the future.
Yeah, it might have been quite an enjoyable, like in his 80s.
Exactly. It wasn't quite as good as Bull Durham, I have to say. I also felt, and I hinted at this earlier, and I felt they kind of cheated in the whole father-son thing.
In what way?
Well, for a start, Sam never discusses with Chucky how he feels about his father leaving him, whether he's got any resentment or any interest in meeting his father, or how he then never really discusses Chucky with the father, other than, you know who he is.
And we don't know, for all Sam knows, is that the mother left the father because he was an abusive drunk and shouldn't be around kids.
Well, Al told him that the father left.
Okay, but
Maybe
maybe
didn't say why.
Yeah, maybe he left because he knew he even
and that whole reasoning for him leaving, I didn't have my job, I couldn't care for my family.
yeah,
It's kind of thin.
very thin. Yeah,
The reunion was just kind of sprung on Chucky, and then he was expected to deal with it. I thought that, I don't know, even Sam's point of view would maybe have handled that better normally.
yeah,
It seemed like an extra bit that was kind of stuck on the
sure.
on the episode.
And also, when we're being critical, I find that hard. Like, this is the second baseball themed episode we've had,
And like the fourth sports theme.
Yeah, I don't understand it. If I was doing this, and I'm not, but if we were sitting around a table going, right, we need to come up with a new episode, and one of us said, what about one set about baseball? Would immediately go, nah, I've already had that one. I mean, this is science fiction, and you've got this. You've got time travel involved here.
They've done multiple ones where he was a defence attorney. They've done multiple ones where he's in prison.
Still, no, it's very specific. It's just, you can't help but think back to that other episode.
Yeah, but the other one, it was only part of an episode.
Even choose a different sport.
And there wasn't really a thing. Well, they've done basketball.
Yeah.
And they've done American football.
Well, I'll do ice hockey. Or darts.
Yeah. They did boxing.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Just seems a bit lazy.
Any other thoughts?
No, it's okay.
I think at this point, though, you're doing 22 episodes a season, you're kind of churning them out to a certain extent. You probably...
Yeah, but if you know you're doing a season, what I would do is, you might not write every script in advance, like all 22, but you could plot out. You go, right, this will be a baseball one in this sort of year. This will be a electric chair one. This will be a JFK one. I don't
think they're sitting there with 100 ideas and they're just going to pick the best one. I think they literally come up with 22 ideas and do them.
Well, they should. I mean, have a bank of ideas.
I think we already know from looking at the Star Trek stuff that the timelines in this, you've only got like 6 months between the end of season 3 airing and start
sit down
season
for
4.
an evening and just brainstorm 22 or 50 ideas and go, right, what could we do here? What's possible?
Maybe.
Baseball, now we've done that next. Race car driver.
Golf. Let's do a golf one.
Yeah.
What else has Kevin Costner already done? A guy who lives in the water.
Yeah. And in fairness, I mean, that might actually be a consideration. Maybe they've said, okay, Bull Durham and Field of Dreams, this is popular at the time, so let's just hang on at the coattails of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the same, the Driving Miss Racist one.
Yeah. And there was other ones as well. The one that you took, the Robert De Niro movie with the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, of course.
Can't remember the name of the movie now.
Midnight Run.
Midnight Run, yeah. Okay. Trivia?
Sure.
Originally, this episode aired on the 25th of September 1991. Directed by Joe Napolitano, the 8th of his 12. If you want to hear more about him, tune in to the episode for Pool Hall Blues. Written by Tommy Thompson, who writes all the ones that you hate. 7th of his 13. If you want to hear more about him, head back to Leaping In Without a Net. Chucky Marwich was played by Neil McDonough.
He's brilliant.
This was his only episode of Quantum Leap, but he's also in a whole lot of things. Star Trek First Contact, Murder One, The X-Files, Desperate Housewives. He's also done a fair amount of work with Marvel. He did the voice of Bruce Banner in the 90s Hulk cartoon, and he plays Dum Dum Duggan in the MCU.
I know him from Justified, where he played a baddie.
Right.
He's got an odd look, an interesting look. I think it's maybe the eyes, I'm not sure.
His performance in this episode was really good.
I mean, he can play a good psycho. Like someone's he's got that sort of presence, he could easily, especially when he was older and Justified, he's got that sort of cold and quite intimidating.
And he's quite young when he made this. He's only 57 now, still active, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Margaret Twilley, played by Marie Cheatham. She was the owner of the team. Only Quantum Leap for her. She's also in things like Beetlejuice, The Wedding Singer, West Wing, Days of Our Lives a lot. You'll recognise her.
Really?
Because only a year before this episode, she appeared in her one episode of Columbo.
Ah.
She was Mrs. Rowe in Columbo Goes to College.
Right, yeah, okay. That's the mother of one of the killers then.
Okay. Was it Robert Culp's wife? No?
Maybe. Can't remember. Was it Justin Rowe? Maybe, I don't know.
She's now 83, but her last screen credit, 2021. Don Stroud played the coach.
I recognise him.
You obviously know who Don Stroud is. Mm-hmm. He's also in things like License to Kill. He was in a Mrs. Columbo, Knight Rider, Mike Hammer. I think he was quite prominent in that. He was in Django Unchained. His father was a vaudeville star. I think part of a duo. His mother toured the world singing with Frank Sinatra. He began acting himself after taking advice from Sidney Poitier when he was the manager of the Whiskey A Go-Go Club on the Sunset Strip.
Been there.
He's now 80. He's still active.
Now, I known best for perhaps pre-Quantum Leap appearances. So when I saw him with the, put a bit of bulk on, and his eye was obviously a bit disfigured in this.
Yeah.
So do you know what happened there?
No.
He went to save someone in a street mugging.
Right.
Get stabbed numerous times, once in the eye, and lost his eye, or lost sight in the eye.
Jeez, oh.
Yeah.
Bunny was played by Courtney Gebert. She's also in things like Knots Landing, Murphy Brown, Spin City. She's now 59, but her last screen credit was in 2010. Probably doing something else now. Kilpatrick, the Yankee scout, was played by a guy called Peter Jason. This was his only Quantum Leap. He's also in lots of things. Hunt for Red October, Murder 1, Deadwood, quite a lot. Mad Men, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, quite recently. He's now 79, still acting. Warren Monroe, Chucky's father, played by Casey Sander. This was his only Quantum Leap, but he's also in some of your favourites. T.J. Hooker, Golden Girls, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Mad Men, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's now 67, still active. He plays Chucky's father. He's only 9 years older than the actor that played Chucky.
Okay.
Royce D. Applegate played the radio reporter doing the call at the stadium. He was previously in The Colour of Truth, so if you want to hear more about him, go back to that one. This was the second of his 2 appearances. Billy, played by Michael Belisario, second of his 4 appearances. You want to hear more about him, go back to Kamikaze Kid. Jorge was played by Juan Garcia. This was his only Quantum Leap. He was one of the Mexican players. He's also appeared in shows like Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Seinfeld, Star Trek Voyager, where he played the father of one of the regular crew members, and The West Wing. He's still active, still acting. Hank Robinson played one of the umpires. He was also the umpire in part 2 of Genesis in season 1. So hear more about him in that podcast. Finally, an interesting one. Riker, who I think was the older team member that got in the fight in the diner, was played by Chuck Fick. This was his only Quantum Leap. He's had a few acting roles, all baseball related, including he was the catcher in Naked Gun. So when Leslie Nielsen's the home plate umpire, he's the one right at the front of the shot. But his main career was as a baseball scout for the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Giants, and he now runs a community baseball program called the SoCal Giants in California.
That's interesting.
Go to fickbaseball.com for more information about that one. In terms of trivia, second time we've seen Sam play a guy called Doc looking after a pig after how the test was won.
Mm-hmm.
The shot of the baseball field, as we've had before, was taken from Field of Dreams. There's some issues with the baseball-y stuff. The scoreboard doesn't match the events that are being described. The shot of the guy making the play, it's not quite right. It's not normal to have play-by-play at a live match, but it doesn't really matter. In terms of things that we learned, heard more about Sam and Al's first meeting. We'd been introduced to that slightly, but we got more detail here on the role that Sam played in keeping Al in the programme. We learned that Al played baseball for Navy and was a starting pitcher with a low ERA.
Okay, yeah, that's covered everything I've got.
Okay, in respective on this date, 6th of August 1961, Sterling Moss got his final race win in Formula One. There was a heat wave in Washington State, the highest ever recorded temperatures in the state that week. And earlier that week, the Beatles played their first gig as the house band at the Cavern Club.
What have I got? Soviet cosmonaut Titov became the first human to sleep while in outer space and the first to be in space for more than a day.
The laziest spaceman.
Number ones in the US, it was Tossin' and Turnin' by Bobby Lewis. And in the UK, we had You Don't Know by Helen Shapiro.
Next week,
what we got?
Hurricane, where Sam has to prevent a murder during a significant weather event. Well, we'll see you in 1969.
Until then,
cheerio.
Bye-bye.